Okay, we're on slide 2 in your T for 2 progression memory study. And here we have the first 8 measures, and you first analyze the chord progression. You can see that C7 basically tells you you're in F, because C7 is the 5 chord in F. And then you see that it's a sequence of minor, dominant, major, which typically means it's a 2-5-1. G minor is 2 in F, C7 is 5 in F, and F major is 1 in F. So we've got right there 2, 5, 2, 5, 1. And very often the 2-5 will repeat several times before it actually resolves to the 1. So here is what this part, the progression is. 2, 5, 2, 5, 1. And there you're playing just an F major 7 and an F6 to give it some harmonic rhythm. Now we're going to take this 2, 5, 1 progression and put the chords in the left hand after we practice it in the right hand. You see the first example there. Your left hand is playing the root G, C, F, and your right hand's playing the G minor, C7, F major. And when you're playing this progression, a standard voicing is what you see there, where you play a root position 7 chord, then you drop your top 2 notes, and then you drop your bottom 2 notes. And this happens over and over in tunes. Then we take those very same chords and put them in the left hand. G minor, drop your top 2. C7, drop your bottom 2. F major, drop just the top 1, and we've got an F6. Now, once I can get the sound and feel of that, I'm going to do a quick memorization of the left-hand chord progression, just the left-hand chords. And you see it there written in green. This is the 2 minor 7, 5 7, 1 major 7 in F major. Okay, here we go. Ready? And that repeats. And again, often your 2-5 will repeat several times before it resolves to the 1. On our next page here, we're going to play just the circled notes in the right hand with the left-hand chords. And you'll see that the top notes are exactly exactly the same note as the top note of your chord. So I'm playing just my circle notes with my chords. Exception here, your top note is an A, which is the third of the chord. Or you can think of it as the third of the F chord, or just memorize it as just an A. Now once you can play it like that, and make sure you get it smooth like that first, but once you can play it like that, then add the other note. And notice that each time on the G minor section, your additional note is a D, which is the 5th of the G chord. When you're going into the F major, your extra note is a C, which is the 5th of the F chord. Back to your D, back to your C to go to the F chord. And that will take a little bit longer, but you'll want to do that until you can actually play that. On the next page, we're talking about you're going to repeat the very same study for the next progression. This is going to be 2, 5, 1 in A major. 2 minor 7, 5, 7, which is a dominant, and 1 major 7 progression. We're going to first learn it with the roots in the left hand and the chords in the right hand. B minor 7, E dominant 7, A major 7. So that's with chords in the right hand and roots in the left hand. Now we take those same chords, and notice it's the same voicing. You play the chord, you drop your top 2 notes and your bottom 2 notes. Now you're actually in the key of A here, so we're not in the key of F at all. Then at the bottom, you'll see there we're going to add that 6th chord at the end. B minor, E7, A major, A6. All right, we're doing the same thing on the next page. We're going to do a quick memorization of the chord progression alone. You will note that in the repeat of this progression, the last chord is different. It's actually a C7 instead of an A major 7 and an A6. So here we go. B, E, B, E, A6. B minor, E7, B minor, E7, A major 7, A6, oop, exception. That last chord is going to be a C7 because we're going back to the key of F. So I'm just going to play through that again, and again you'll play this until it's fairly easy. And again, if you do it quickly, it'll be easier to memorize. Sing the tune. Da 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 da. And you have to memorize, oops, I'm going to the third of the A chord, or just say C sharp. And then out of the blue, you hit a C natural and your C7 chord. So that last measure, last line, excuse me. Da 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 da. Now on the next page, you're going to do the same thing you did with the other. You're going to play just the circle notes in the right hand with the left hand chords. And again, the top notes, the melody notes, the circle notes are exactly the same notes as the top note of your chord, except for those last two measures. And you want to memorize it just like this. You also could do, instead of just a C7, you could come back to your G minor C7 because you're going back to F there. So I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to play the G minor C7 on the last measure. And that gets you back to the repeat of the original 8 measures. The last page gives you the 2-5-1 progression in all 12 keys. The top of the page has the first 6 keys, and what you're actually doing is you're in the key of the third chord. So in those first 2 measures you see D minor 7, G7, C major 7. You're in the key of C, starting with the 2 chord. And notice again we've got our circle of fifths voicing where you just drop your top 2 notes and then your bottom 2 notes. Now to get this in all 12 keys, you'd want to have your left hand in the key position for C at the very beginning and starting on your 4th finger and your thumb and your 5th finger. Now you're going to move your left hand down to B flat, B flat, C, D, E flat, F. And your 4th finger will be on C. Your right hand is on that C major 7, and you're going to flat the 3rd, which is the E, and flat the 7th, which is the B, which becomes a B flat. So I've gone, move my left hand to B flat, flat my 3rd and my 7th. Now I play it in the key of B flat. So you went down a whole step from C to B flat. Now you move your left hand to the key of A flat, and your 4th finger will be on the B flat. You flat your 3rd and your 7th, and you get your B flat minor, E flat 7, A flat major. So that's in the key of A flat. Now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to move your left hand down to G flat, and you're going to take your right hand and flat the 3rd and the 7th. So you'll have A flat minor, D flat 7, G flat major in the key of G flat. Now you move your left hand down to an E major position, flat your 3rd and your 7th, and you've got your F sharp minor, B7, E major 7. Take your left hand down to E major, flat your 3rd and your 7th, and we have E minor, A7, D major. So we end up in the key of D major there. Now the ones on the bottom, we were just going down a whole step because that's a typical thing that pieces sometimes do. We were playing it in C and B flat and A flat and G flat and E and D. And a good way to practice that would be to take your left hand, practice C, B flat, A flat, G flat, E, and D, so that your hand is in the position for those keys. The bottom half here is doing them starting in the key of B, and it's going down a whole step also. B, A, G, F, E flat, and D flat. Same thing, your left hand is in B. You start with your fourth finger. Your right hand is playing C sharp minor 7, C sharp E, G sharp B. So we have our C sharp minor, drop your top two notes to F sharp and A sharp, and your bottom two to B and D sharp, and you have your 2-5-1 in B major. Move your left hand to A major, flat your third and your seventh, and you have B minor 7, E7, A major 7. Move your left hand to G, flat your third and your seventh, and we have A minor, D7, G major 7. Now I lower my left hand down to the key of F, and I flat my third and my seventh, and I go G minor, C7, F major. Now I move my left hand down to E flat, and flat my third and my seventh, and I now have 2-5-1 in E flat major. And the last one, you move your left hand down to D flat, and you're going to flat your third and the seventh, and you'll have E flat major, A flat 7, D flat major. So this, I tell people, is like a lifetime assignment. You just do this until you can get it. Once you can get it the way it's written here, you would take the very same chords and do them in just the left hand. Another way to learn it is to just learn individual keys, like the ones that are in your pieces, like the ones that are in T for 2. But you want to do these until you can do them in every key, because that's where all the pieces are. Now on G minor 7, F minor 7, E flat minor 7. And every starting chord is always the 2 chord. It's not the 1 chord. It's the 2 going to the 5, going to the 1. So work on that until it becomes yours, because your pieces are going to be filled with those. So this is your introduction process to memory process using this particular chord progression. And whatever tune you're doing, it would always be the chord progression that you memorize first. We're going to apply this process to the rest of T for 2 or to another one of your tunes. And once you have memorized about a dozen carefully chosen pieces this way, these progressions will become so much a part of your vocabulary that you will be able to learn tunes very fast and know what you're doing, and you'll know what the chord progression is. So that'll be next coming.